What's up, mate?
What's happening, buddy? You good?
Yeah,
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you great, as usual. As always. Me, however, I'm on a new setup, new computer for me, and to be honest, I've switched rooms as well, as you can see in my background.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because I'm usually recording in the what we call the gaming and TV room, and my kids are always in there, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to find something else. All right, mate, how you been?
Good. Yeah,
Yeah.
busy, man.
Busy,
Lots of
yeah.
stuff.
I can see, I can
Dude,
hear. I mean, a new weekly podcast.
Well, I mean, it's actually to be honest, that's actually. I mean, I'm doing that anyway, right? I'm just doing it with Colin now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I would do 2 a week normally anyway. 6, 7. It's probably one extra podcast a month now because I normally do 6 or 7, sometimes 8. So it's 8. But it actually, I think when I get into a rhythm, it will mean that I've actually got a better plan. Because at the moment, last year I was just recording off on editing, you know, doing so many different things, man. It was just a bit of a disaster. So this year started a bit crazy, but I'm hoping it will settle down a little bit. And then, obviously this is the year, you know, we're trying to take that to the next level, you know, try and be a little bit more professional in everything we do. And I think that's going to be good. Yeah.
Yeah. I listened to it. I enjoyed it, and it seems like it's a bigger effort for Colin to do weekly than it is for you.
Yeah,
sounded like that on him.
I think their real effort's going to be like because we want to interact more with the community.
Yeah,
like for example, like coming up on next week's show, we've got the guy who got chased by the avalanche.
Oh, yeah.
Not actually him because he doesn't speak in English, but his friend who was filming.
Yeah.
You know, just to talk about that. We got I don't know if you saw that video of that guy running away from the cops in Cape Town at the end of last year. You know, go up the beach, the cops run up, and go back on the water. So I got a sound bite from him as well. So we want to try and just try and get more sort of community stories rather than what's going on, you know. Just maybe a little bit of a different approach, you know, because I think that could be quite interesting.
Yeah,
but as you know, man, there's not much going on in the sport at the moment.
No,
you know?
It's not. I'm actually speaking of community influence. I'm working on the next Kiteboarding Daily, what's called vlog or hashtag Kiteboarding Daily episode, and it's not that much. You know, we are expecting quite a lot of content coming in from Cape Town and everywhere else as well, and people are I understand it's not easy to do anything. I mean, we are actually now just in I would say the worst case scenario in one way for kiting here in Sweden, because it's so cold, so we have a little bit of ice on the water, but it's not thick enough to ride on, and we haven't got that much snow, so snow kiting is a problem as well in southern Sweden. In northern Sweden, it's a lot of snow. So for me, it's hard to produce any material for my own blog, for example, as well. So it's hard to get out with any good material. But it's funny, right? There is, you know, you would think that there's a lot of stuff. What's really shocked me this time of year is normally, right, this time of year we're preparing for King of the Year, we're super busy, you know, there's so many stuff happening, rider profiles, you know. I mean, the King of the Year is we're 6 days into the holding period now, you know. It's really an opportunity at this time of year to do that, but I have noticed it big time. I've noticed it a lot that riders are not pushing so hard with their content because you know it's just the way it was, and I think now with Cape Town opening, that's going to be I think that's the next big thing, right? I mean, Cape Town opening, the guys are starting to get on the water more. We're starting to see more content coming out. Yeah. But I feel like a lot of guys left, you know. A lot of guys left Cape Town. I see Mike McDonald's on his way back to Cape Town to try and get a big air, but for a few weeks, he said. I will get down for a few weeks, but
Yeah. But it's interesting that it's Instagram stuff coming out, you know. You know, I think probably a lot of, you know, for example, like I'll give you a good example, like the Clement Earl signing with Reedon. I think originally they were going to do a big shoot in Cape Town and do a big launch, but
that got sort of thrown under the bus, and they sort of did like a bit of a, hey, someone's joining Red and it's Clemon, wasn't probably the release that they really wanted. They probably wanted to do a big edit, but just didn't have the opportunity,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the beaches opening up in Southern Africa and what that will mean for everything happening right now. First of all, I want to welcome everyone to the Kiteboarding Daily channel and the Forecast Pod that is part of this channel now. So with me, Michael Ericsson, and of course with Adrian Kerr. Cape Town. I haven't seen a lot of material coming out. I saw that Dirty Habits posted that, the beaches are open. And I've seen one vlog from Kevin Langray, which was half and half kiteboarding and something else. Yeah. But I think he wanted to get something out there as soon as possible, just showing that you can kite there and be one of the first to actually produce anything from down there. But what have you heard so far? What have you seen?
Really, just stuff coming off the Instagram, really. But the guys, it sounds like the guys are pretty stoked to get back out in the water. Obviously, we are in February now, which is predominantly not the best month, and there has been a few days with light winds, so the season is coming to an end. That was always the big problem with February, right? That the King of the Air guys were always unhappy. They were always like, this is not the best time. We want it earlier in the season. So, the season is winding down. Normally what guys would do King of the Air, right? Maybe stay another week and then they start leaving as well. By March, most of the guys have gone. So we are getting to the end of the Cape Town season. So I guess guys are just happy to be on the water and to be able to ride without, and they're probably actually going out and riding without thinking about creating content now, because they're just happy to be on the water without being, breaking the law. And I'm sure all those guys are riding. Guys were normally going out after 6 o'clock when the cops left or the shift changes. The guys would go out and have a couple of hours before sunset. I heard people going out early in the morning. People were getting out of town, away from the sort of hot areas, and just kiting at different spots. So even though they have been kiting, they haven't been kiting where they really want to, on Kite Beach and Dolphin Beach and those types of things. So I think the guys are just getting out, enjoying, and girls, enjoying being in the water and just enjoying being able to ride again. And it's probably pretty cool down there, right? They're probably getting to ride with, ride these spots that just don't have anybody on them at the moment.
Yeah, I was thinking about that
because just a distinct lack of numbers.
Yeah, I was looking, as I said, I haven't seen that much, but looking through, for example, Kevin's vlog coming out, it's not crowded. I don't know exactly how the spot would look like in an ordinary year when, where he was, but in the video I saw like a couple other kites, but it's not that much. So I'm guessing the tourists haven't come yet, or maybe they won't come at all. Maybe it's too late. But it seems like beach is opening up now, and for the guys who are down there, it could be like an epic ending of the season at least. Let's hope for that. But it sounds like you are starting to feel like the move of King of the Air to October, November is it's a good move for the future as well.
I kind of got that feeling from Sergio when I spoke to him that's what they, deep down that they would like to do that. Yeah. I think this force move might be a good move for them, Okay, I really do think they're going to try and get it on at the end of the year. And then, look, if they get it on in November, December, let's just say, they're not going to do one in February. They'll just say, hey, this is a good opportunity to change it to that spot that they actually have looked at.
Yeah.
So I think we might see a permanent change, which means we'll almost be 2 years without a King of the Air by then. Well, let's say 20 months. So it's going to be, people are going to be gagging for it, and it gives those guys like Jesse and Liam a chance to get back riding again. And I don't think we'll see a fleet change. I think they'll run with the same fleet. I think that's only fair. But it will, I think Big Air is. This actually might be a good opportunity for some smaller events, to rise up. I know Tarifa's got a Big Air event coming up. I'm sure. Cold Hawaii will happen again, and maybe some more Big Air kite leagues around, which will happen, which I think will be a great opportunity for these smaller events to start proving themselves. And we might see a lot more riders, let's say the top King of the Air riders we'll even see, but definitely that sort of middle tier to fringe guys, we'll see them traveling a bit and doing some more bigger events. I'm excited to see what that brings. It's like anything with any with any problem, there's always an opportunity there, right? And the opportunity is for like that next level guy to go out and get as much experience as they can to put pressure on the older rider, you know. Maybe this is the change that we see, where we see a fresh bunch of guys at the top. You know, if it had happened in February this year or happening now, I don't think we'd seen that much change in the top 6. But given that it's not happening, it looks like there's going to be at least 3 or 4, maybe potentially 5 bigger events this year, you know, barring the situation, of course. We might see guys come to the end of year event with just a lot more experience and just maybe be able to put pressure on those guys. Well, I think those guys had, like Jesse said, those guys have the experience, but the young guys have the moves. The young guys have a lot more variation.
I was thinking about that when I heard you talking about the S loop, for example. I don't think we will see one of the older guys do that. Might be wrong, but I do think what we have seen being pushed so far is pretty not as well-known names pushing those new moves, which is really radical next level for us seeing in, and has to be in big air. Interesting to see how those tricks will be scored, though, compared to the height and everything. So, but yeah, as I said, it gives a little bit extra room for the younger guys to actually have a shot at the top spots on King of the Air. So,
yeah, I can't see an S-loop being thrown, man. I mean, if you listen to that podcast called the S-loops podcast on the Megapod, I just can't see it happening, man. I just think it has to be incredible timing and amazing amount of luck to do it. Yeah. Also, I just don't know if. I think someone's going to get injured. I personally think someone's going to get injured trying it. It's definitely not going to be an old one. It's going to be some young, crazy guy. And it's funny. It's funny how you just said one thing here, a lesser known guy. See, to us, we know all these guys. And this is the great conundrum, I think, is that how do we make these lesser known guys more famous? You know, to the industry, we know the Nico Gambiers and we know these guys who are the fringe guys coming through. But if you win King of the Air, it catapults you into that level of the Nicks, the Jessies, the Liams, those type of characters, and you become more, let's say, Weekend Warrior known. Yeah. You know, to be known by the Weekend Warrior is to have made it in the sport, which is kind of crazy. You know, to us, we can look at Liam and say, oh man, Liam, okay, he's only won one freestyle title, but the guy's the most unbelievable rider. To most of the Weekend Warriors, they might not know who Liam is, and that's kind of crazy to say, but I think that's actually probably pretty feasible, you know? Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Coming back to Cape Town, I was thinking about what will happen now for the rest of the season, because we knew that King of the Air was supposed to happen. It won't happen. We also knew that we were supposed to have a Big Air Kite League competition and also a women Big Air Kite competition hosted by Josie and She Flies. Do you think there's time enough for us to see any of like those or similar now in Cape Town before we end the season?
I would doubt it. Josie definitely knows they're going to postpone that or look to do a different time. Big Air Kite League, potentially, if Mike's coming back there, I mean, he's got a great team there. Maybe they can put something on. You know, I should probably reach out to Mike and find out about that. I mean, that could be something that we might see. Again, we are getting, as I said, late in the season, and as you know, a good forecasts start becoming, less and less as it gets further into February. So. We might potentially see a Big Air Kite League, and that would be cool, actually.
That would be epic, right? You know?
Yeah, because there are enough riders down there. Just have it run by the riders, for the riders, maybe no prizes, but just get them something competition. And look how Tatajuba went and Cold Hawaii. I mean, we had no footage, but everyone watched the Instagram stories, and it was kind of raw and something that we could all buy into. So I think there's definitely an opportunity for that. Whether we'll see it or not, I don't know.
No, I'm hoping so. And if you when you talk to Mike, I can reach out to him as well. But I can do my best to support that with my system or whatever to make something happen, because the guys that are down there, they're still amazing. I mean, as you said, many I think have left, but the level of kiters down there is really high. So you should be able to put something together maybe a simpler thing just to have, these. I think they all jump on it. I think they were stoked to have something there. So just having someone to arrange it. And I do think that the spread social wise would be quite big as well. For example, if bigger Kite League would do something like that, people will watch it. People will see it. So it's a good opportunity, I think. For sure, yeah.
And it has got those people down there, like Stig's there still, Cohen's there. There's so many of these next generation guys there. It could be a great. Yannick's still there,
Yeah.
I mean, you could put on good level competition, probably a better level competition than they had at Tarajuba. That's for sure. There's a lot more. There's going to be a lot more sort of pulling power when it comes to names, and I think it's going to take. It's going to take the community coming together to make it happen rather than relying on sponsors to be able to pay people. It's going to be like, hey, guys, let's have a meeting. Look, can we do this? Are we prepared to give up a little bit of our time? If you're riding, it's okay. If you're knocked out, maybe you need to score. Maybe you need to do some beach marshalling. But it's going to take us as a group to make it happen. And we should do this for the future.
Yeah.
Because I think that, by doing that, I think it will be an awesome opportunity to just show sponsors next year, hey, well, we're turning this out with it by ourselves, get involved.
Exactly. Yeah,
look how many views we had.
And if it's anyone who has the connections to do that, it's Mike for sure. So yeah,
absolutely.
Push him to do that, and I will do the same. And hopefully,
I'm going to send him a message after this straight away.
Yeah, for sure. All right, should we move into the next topic of the day, which is the 2021 tour schedule for the GKA tours, the freestyle tour, the kitesurf tour. And I also see they have a hydrofoil freestyle, one event in there, and a youth as well. Have you had time to look at it?
Yeah, the youth has always been there. And that freestyle, that hydrofoil freestyle, I think is good because it's the same sort of time they did last year, actually, which was the week before the freestyle top. So the guys went down there. They did that hydrofoil. I still, that hydrofoil, let's just say, I don't know if they know the style yet. I think it's probably going to take 2 or 3 years to work that one out. But what guys are doing on the wings, I know that they had 3 girls turn up on wings, so maybe we'll see a few more girls go down there next year. Yeah. The youth has always happened before. I mean, that's always there, but it's quite interesting to see that the youth is actually before the main tour. But I know, I remember talking to Maxime last year, and he's like, I was going to go do the youth tour just because it doesn't clash with anything and just get another Junior World Championship under my belt, which I thought was kind of funny because, but I don't think that's that fair. But I mean, people do that, right? I don't even know what the age limit is for it, but it's, if he was talking about last year, it must be
I'm guessing
21 or something.
Yeah, 18 or 21, I guess. But
yeah. But that's kind of crazy, right? When the top guys are 18 winning the,
exactly.
I think what's name was only 17 when he won the world title. So
sure,
it is a little bit of a strange concept, but even like the kite. Let's say the 2 events that sort of stick out to me is obviously the Mauritius event and Brazil event, because actually those 2 events are the times when both the tour groups come together. And, after speaking to the guys, that's something they really enjoy, being around the Kitesurf strapless tour and the freestyle tour at the same spots. And that sounds like it's just a real party atmosphere, but just some like the best level riding because everyone sort of rises to the occasion because they want to sort of showcase it. Another thing that sticks out to me, there's quite a few surf events. There's one in Denmark. Do you know about this place in Denmark?
No, I was thinking about that. I've never been to Sylt, actually.
In Germany, it's Germany.
No, sorry. Yeah, Videsande. Yeah. I have friends being to. Sorry, I was thinking about Germany because there's no freestyle stop in Germany. But let's get back to that. Let's get to Denmark first. I know about Videsande. I know it's a super perfect flat water spot for freestyle because there's a little bit of a I don't know how big it is. It's a lake where you have like a sandbank outside. So when you have the western wind coming in, it's super flat on that lake in there, and I know the community there is really good. You have the cabins. You have it's a vacation resort for Danish people and also Swedish and German people as well, of course. I don't know about the waves there, but I'm guessing since it's coming in from it's open water outside, so I'm guessing it's pretty good. It could get pretty good waves there as well.
I mean, we're talking. By the way, we're talking about the strapless tour here, just in case anyone's confused.
Strapless tour. Yes, actually.
You know, when I look at this, I mean, Dakla's a wave spot. Gran Canaria is going to be a wave spot. The Germany and Denmark, they might be strapless freestyle. They might be the strapless freestyle events. Mauritius will be wave, and then Brazil, that area is definitely going to be strapless freestyle. So maybe they're mixing it up again with different sort of a couple of different spots, you know, giving different looks, because it can't just be all waves. It can't just be all strapless freestyle.
Okay, so the kite surf category here, just I haven't thought about that. Is that, do you saying it's a mixed strapless freestyle and wave riding?
Yeah, well, sometimes they do waves, right? I mean, if there's not enough waves, they drop back down and do strapless freestyle. So, and looking at the thing with Dakla and Gran Canaria, they're going to be waves, right? Maybe the Germany and Denmark will be strapless freestyle. Mauritius, 100% will be waves, without a doubt. And then I'd say Brazil would be strapless freestyle again, because that's sort of you know, one of the epicenters of strapless freestyle. It's quite interesting. So it's interesting to see them mixing up a bit, because there are guys and females who are stronger at one than the other, and then there's people like Ayrton who can just do it all. So that'll be interesting to see.
It's going to be pretty cold in Denmark as well in late September.
Doesn't that German one isn't that around the German Masters, the big sort of kite trade show up there at the same time?
Yeah, but that's what I was thinking, because usually there has been a freestyle competition at the same time. You know, when brands are coming there to show off their new stuff and everything. But I can't remember the name of that spot now. I should know that, because it's one of the most known spots there. But
is it not in Silt?
Maybe
the German Kite Masters. I know they're German Kite Masters. That does go around to different venues at times, so maybe it's going to be there. I don't know.
That's not the name, at least that are usually. They usually say it's something else. That is a big. You know, Pringles used to sponsor that spot. It's big stuff for many years, and I know this as well, because when we were supposed to have a freestyle tour stop here in Sweden, it was supposed to happen just after that as well. So people are still in the area, sort of.
And that's one of the biggest. I believe it's one of the biggest trade shows in the world, right? I mean, it's a massive trade show for the industry.
Maybe it is. Maybe the town there is called Sylt, and the spot is called something else.
Bear in mind, none of this might happen right this year.
No. We should probably say that it is still, most of them are to be, what's it called? To be concluded, not to be
confirmed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's still. But I do think it's good that they have made this list, and that they have at least so many spots that they think they have confirmed so far. So yeah.
Let's look at the freestyle one. So they've got Tarifa, Fuerteventura, Calpitia, Belombre, I think you say it, San Diego, Suarez, Sierra, and Neom. Now let's talk about Neom last, because that's actually quite an interesting one. But again, I guess Calpitia they can say is a flat water spot, but the lagoon's pretty choppy. But there's no real flat water freestyle spots in there, right? I mean, Tarifa's not flat, Fuerteventura is not flat. Calpitia, I guess it's flattish. Belombre is definitely not. Madagascar, I don't know. I mean, maybe that is going to be, but I mean, obviously Brazil's in the ocean again, and Neom in Saudi Arabia, that's going to be interesting to see as well. First time new stop in Saudi.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah. By the way, this Neom, right? Neom is the Arabic word, means new future, and this is part of Neom is part of the 2030 plan by the royal family, and that's to really over the next 10 years change this area. And that to let you know where the area, it's the sort of northwestern part of Saudi. I think it's up in the Tabuk area, and it's going to be a huge area. I think it's 26,500 square kilometers, and there's like over 400 kilometers of coastline up there. And it's sort of, to let you know, it's sort of just below Jordan and opposite the Sinai, that sort of area of Saudi. And they want to have towns, cities, airports, ports, trade, technology, research. I mean, sports, airports, everything. It's going to be like a huge area. So I guess what they're trying to do is. What I think they're trying to do is they're trying to create like another Dubai type thing, like a new city. And I think their selling point is that 40% of the world's population is within 4 hours of this area. if they do go there, I don't think the infrastructure will be there like it is in 10 years' time. And in 10 years' time, maybe only Mika will be on the tour at that stage. She might remember its first inception, but it is up at the northern end of the Red Sea. So, maybe there's going to be decent winds there. But again, that looks like, I don't want to say it looks like a bit of a cash grab to me, but sounds like there's going to be.
Yeah, that was actually my question. Listening to what you're saying about it is maybe it's one of the things they need to do to be able to have the money for the rest of the tour as well, because it seems like it's a lot of money involved in that area. And
it's interesting where its placement too. It's right after Brazil, and it's quite nice. I always used to think it was quite nice to end in Brazil, right? That was, end of November. The competition's over. A lot of the riders would stay, but then this is another whole flight. I mean, a lot of the guys like to spend time in Brazil because it's great learning in that area leading up to Christmas time. Now they've got to jump on a flight from Brazil.
Yeah, it could be an epic
a few
party.
Weeks to go all the way to Saudi.
Could be an party in Saudi Arabia if it's that kind of money.
Well, that's the thing, man. I mean, that's the crazy thing. Like, I would assume, knowing what I see in Dubai and the Middle East, that for these areas to be successful, and if they want to create this new sort of epicenter of the Middle East, which I think they do, then they're going to have to probably have alcohol sales. I mean, that sounds so crazy to say, but you can't be the epicenter of sports. Like they want it, epicenter of sports. If you're not going to sell alcohol, I know that sounds so crazy to say, but alcohol is going to be a big sponsor. I mean, for example, here one of the big events in Dubai hasn't happened this year because of the Sevens or last year is the Dubai Rugby Sevens, and that's sponsored by Heineken. And apparently, they sell more Heineken over these 4 days than they do at any other event in the world. So that just sort of shows the consumers coming in. So. And again, there's other issues there. I mean, Saudi Arabia is predominantly women are it's a covered place where women are to be covered all times. Even expatriate women have to show respect to Islam. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. I mean, I think that this area will be like a free zone where it will have its own expatriate rules, a bit like Dubai, and it will be, it will be a little bit freer away from the sort of stricter Islamic places in the south. That's how I see. I mean, there'd be nothing worse than the women's or the guys and the girls get in there, and then the woman told them they've got to ride in a full length, burkini, which would be kind of disappointing.
Yeah, exactly. Hard to if with that kind of regulation, paying respect, hard to do maybe a kiteboarding competition.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they thought about it. I mean, again, it doesn't have, by the way, on here, it doesn't have it to be confirmed beside it. So apparently it's in the books, I mean, Sri Lanka's to be confirmed, Madagascar's to be confirmed, Brazil to be confirmed, but that guarantee that will happen. And Tarifa says to be confirmed, but again, I kind of feel that Tarifa that will happen for sure. The Sri Lanka one and the Madagascar one, those might be the difficult ones at the moment. I mean, I don't know where Diego Suarez is on Madagascar. I should probably look to that. Calpitia has definitely the infrastructure to hold it. There's a lot of kite schools. It's a great little spot. We don't know what's going to happen with COVID.
No, we don't.
Look, 2021 hasn't started as well as everyone hoped, right?
No, exactly.
It's actually got worse. So, I mean, whether people are going to be able to travel this year, I have no idea. I mean, it's going to be tough, but it looks like it looks good on paper. It looks great.
Yeah, it looked good, and I'm starting to get my hopes up because, depending. We just had now in Sweden, you're not allowed to travel to Sweden at all from anywhere, and that's the first time. I think ever we have had that. So for us, of course, now the registrations are even worse. But at the same time, they released that we were gonna do an or a passport for COVID vaccination. And as long as you have that passport, and Denmark is doing the same. As long as you have that passport, which says that I'm vaccinated, you are allowed to enter the plane and enter countries. And if that,
I don't like the sound of that, man. It sounds too controlling to me.
Yeah, maybe. But if we have to do something to help, I know about the thoughts about vaccination and maybe a good reason for it. Looking at the facts about this vaccine, I'm not too concerned, at least. But things are starting to happening to make sure that we can go back to some sort of an ordinary situation with traveling, etc. It won't be the same, but I'm having good hopes that we can have maybe not all these stops, but looking at Freestyle Tour, June is the first one, so we're pretty much 5 months away from that. So I'm pretty sure that we will have at least quite a few stops this year. At least
it's funny if you look at that flow, right? Spain, Sri Lanka. Okay, Spain, then fly to Sri Lanka. From Sri Lanka to Mauritius, I get it. It's in the same it's in the Indian Ocean. To Madagascar's in the Indian Ocean. To Brazil, and then fly halfway back around the world to Saudi. I mean, that Saudi does look like it's a little. It looks like it's a little bit out of place there. I mean, it would maybe better to. I mean. See, I don't know. See, look, you couldn't have Saudi any earlier in the year because it's going to be too hot. Okay, you couldn't have Saudi around after Spain. It's just, I mean, you're in the middle of the summer there. It's way too hot. So, I mean, Saudi, I guess, is the only time it can be, but it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit looks out of place on that.
It's a long flight for many people. Yeah.
Well, I guess Brazil, you got to fly all the way back to Europe first, and then you got to then you got to jump on a plane to Saudi. And I mean, I don't know how easy it is to fly into Saudi. Again, I don't know what the story is with visas. You have to, 100% you need a visa to Saudi. Whether the GKA can organise that through this whole NEOM and what they're doing, that they can organise simple visas. I'm sure they can, but yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a challenge.
But as you said, I mean, they are pointing out that 2020 was a very difficult year for GKA and for everyone, of course. And this year they are trying to adopt and trying to do the best out of things. But they also say, make sure to check back often to this site for updates, because things will for sure change depending on what happens. So yeah,
I don't want to say this, but I hope we don't have another distance battle. Is the distance battle coming back to bite me? But you know what? I mean, maybe they are. But look, let's hope that the distance battle is a better format. I think we can do something, but I think it's a good idea. But the format kind of was a bit of a stinker.
Yeah.
I remember at the end of last year, I said, I hope we never see this again. And I think, man, we're going to see it again.
You know what? If we can do this ordinary tour with all the stops or most of the stops, I won't miss the distance battle. But then again, I think, having something like that in a different format, a better format, could be interesting because it's something that is easier also to spread, for the, as you say, the weekend, what do you call it? The weekend
warrior.
Weekend warriors. To actually showcase the sport and showcase these kind of riding styles, because I as Tom Bridge said, I don't think people know enough about freestyle. Because they're not doing it. If they knew enough about freestyle, they would do it more because it's so fun. It's so interesting to learn new tricks. It's so giving, And I think we need to have more content, good content coming out with freestyle, and looking at a live stream from a freestyle tour or like these 5 hours broadcast. I don't think that's the way to get these people. So maybe like something like a distance battle in a better format could, help spread these both with kitesurf, because we don't have a lot of kitesurf here. We have a lot of lawnmower mowing the lawns, and I think people. It's fun to challenge your skills and do something new. Yeah. So
maybe you could get everyone to put it in like a 5-minute edit. You got 6 months to film that. Do your first 5-minute edit, and we can vote on it and push them forward or pull them back or drop them, and maybe do you could give, as they get voted, they move on, and I think it'd be kind of cool. I mean, I'm sure skateboarding has done some good ones we could look at, and we'll see. Yeah. Let's have a look at what they decide this year. I mean, I'm hoping for this. I want this.
Yeah.
I want the tour. Yeah. I think it'd be a real shame if we go another year without a world champion.
Yeah, I agree.
In anything. Yeah. And I think if worst case scenario, if they do get a whole lot of cancelled events and it gets down to Brazil and the one event, the Super Cup, last year they all voted to not make it a world championship event, winner takes all. But I tell you what, if it gets down to this again, man, I bet you those big guys at the top are going to say, "Hey, winner takes all. Let's go for it. Come on, we've got it. We need to crown world champions here. We can't not have another year without a champion. It could be the end." I mean, I'm sure the GKA are feeling the pinch, right? I mean, it's their job is to put on tours. That's why the brands support them to put on tours. You know, to support as an association to run these. And if they're not doing it, I mean, why would a brand support the GKA? Why would a brand support the GKA anymore?
I would love to see, if we are in that situation again, a live broadcasted distance battle where you have the heats and people filming with less quality, but being judged against each other. Since it's take of turns kind of format, either way, you're not riding at the same time. Could work if there's enough bandwidth and Wi-Fi connection and everything. Yeah, let's not dig into that. It's maybe it's big more. By the way, the German place I was thinking about is Fehmarn.
Oh, Fehmarn, yeah.
That's where I think that's where they usually have the.
Yeah, but actually, just one thing I just noticed here is that there's no Cape Verde this year on the tour, and that's always been a big stop because where Ayrton's there, Machu's from there, they're all from that area. It's interesting. That's the only event they had last year, right? They for the strapless, they had one event at the strapless, and it was in Cape Verde.
Was interesting? Maybe I'm guessing they had to choose locations where they feel like it's the best case of it to be able to happen, I guess. Yeah, money. Yeah, all right.
Dude, I mean,
people are listening didn't see your sign there, but it's money.
I was rubbing my fingers together in the classic. I've got money talk, and it's of course it's a money ball, as you say. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can have a tour. You could have a tour stop in the least windiest place on earth if you wanted. If you said, "Hey, I'm putting down $300,000 on it," hey, Joe would be sitting in that booth talking for 6 days straight. Because that's what they do. I mean, I don't want to say. I mean, I don't want to cheapen what they do because they do a great job. But money is always going to be the driving force behind everything on this. So
yeah.
Anyway, fingers crossed this year, and I'm confident we can get some stuff out. I really do feel like people like Maxime and who's sort of really risen to the top of his game. I really like to see him on the guys' side. Push forward and really challenge Liam and Aduri and Val. Well, Val's the current world champion. I'd like to see Mika land a double in competition. I think that would be amazing for women. And I think, as Mika said, I think that we need to start kicking the women's game along again because it has probably got a little bit stale with you need 4 or 5 tricks and you can, as long as you can nail those, you can win anything. So it will be interesting to see the distance battle. I'm sure we're going to see some form of that, but look, let's be positive and let's hope for something good.
You know what? I'm just so glad that they are trying to. They're trying to find a way through. They can just say like, "Hey, you can't do anything. Sorry," but at least they're trying. And sure. For every try you make that aren't perfect, you improve to the next step. So I'm looking forward to support whatever they come up with. If they don't do any more distance battle, that's it. But if they do, I'm going to follow it. I'm going to try and support it. And the worst thing that can happen is that they just lay on their back and self-die if nothing happens this year as well. Yeah.
Is the GK in trouble if there goes another year with no events, you think?
I'm not sure. I do think we need them. I think the interest of it might
wane.
Yeah, a little bit. If we don't see anything happening, this year, 2020, not this year, last year, 2020, we had something to see and we had something to laugh about, talk about, and, spread and, make fun of, whatever. This year, it won't be funny anymore. So something has to happen. Otherwise, we won't.
I hope not. It might be funny, but you're right.
But the same joke two times in a row is not as funny as the first time. Yeah, you know that, and that's why we need to see something happening. And as I said, I'm happy that they're trying. But let's hope that whatever they do, it's a little bit better than the distance battle, and hopefully we can have. If we have half of these stops, how many are there? 2, 4, 6, 8, right? if we have 4 of them, it will still be much better than last year. So yeah.
Well, 2 stops are better than last year, but I mean, look, I mean, as I said, like in any bad time, something good can come out of it. And I thought, for me, last year, I thought the Tatajuba event, the Cold Hawaii, the GKA Super Cup, they're all great. Even if they weren't in the best conditions at times, they're awesome because we got it. I mean, King of the Year was awesome, right? It was probably one of the best King of the Years we had in a long, long time. And the year started amazing, but just petered out. So yeah, man, I'm positive for this year. I think that we are making moves to go in the right direction.
Yeah. Do you know one thing that will happen again in 2021?
The Kite Games?
The Kite Games, yeah, exactly.
Did I click that? I saw your post.
Yeah.
I thought you were at one stage you were going to be too busy for the Kite Games.
Yeah. The thing is, I wanted to do quite a bit of changes when it comes to how you register and everything, because it was, as I've said before, I decided like 1 week that to do the Kite Games, and the next week everything was up. So I used quite easy, like a Google form to register and everything, and then everything was manual for me. I had to put it in the system so you can log in manually. I had to send email outs to everyone manually, etc. So this year I wanted to make it more like a smooth machinery. So that I decided to do when, I was actually approached by someone who wanted to take over and buy the Kite Games, do it as a thing of their own, but still, leveraging on or using the name, etc. So I was a little bit, I could see that happening if the deal was right, if I felt right about the deal, and if I felt that this would be, a next step for the Kite Games. I mean, it's something I built. I put in a lot of hours into it and a lot of passion, and I got so much back from it. I didn't want to just give it away or see it go down the drain or whatever. So I've been talking to them about this, but in the end, they just wanted me to hand everything over, and I wasn't ready to. I'm not ready to do that. So that made me a little bit, pissed off. All these talks about it and nothing happening in the end. And things changing, So I sat down one day and I just put up my, computer, started coding, and I made everything. I fixed everything that I wanted to fix. It took me a couple of days, and then I reached out to a couple of my guys, friends of mine, and said, "You know what? Do you want to help me with spreading the word on Instagram, reposting, everything?" And they said, "Yeah, we'll be happy to." So now, this year, we are a little bit of a team. It's not only me anymore. I don't know if I'm going to do a podcast with the teams. It depends on what I feel, and but hopefully I can do that as well. And also, last year I had a little bit of backup from Nick Jacobson having his category. And I thought that will. I mean, it's good to have his name in there, and there's a good discussion about the jump from Burj Khalifa. Whatever.
Burj Al Arab.
I never remember the name.
Burj Khalifa would be very tall. If someone jumped off the Burj Khalifa, mate, that would be one of the most impressive things ever. They don't even base jump off there.
No, but this year, it wasn't. It didn't give me any spread because Nick has so much to do. But I've actually reached out to a different guy this year, a well-known name. I wanted to have his name on a trick category, and I wanted him to be part of naming those tricks. So I got that list yesterday, and I'm going to put that out, and hopefully, like tomorrow or early next week, I'm going to launch the 2021 Kite Games. So I'm actually pretty stoked about this. It's a new step for the games as well, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, mate, I'll repost that when I see it as well.
Good. Yeah, it's fun to have something, and I do think that since we don't really know what happens this year with everything, the response I got when I put out the teaser was really good. People were saying, "Yay, yeah, finally!" Yeah. So let's see what happens.
Get she flies involved. That's key. Get those she flies involved.
I reached out to Josie last year when she had so much to do. Now I know that she hasn't got that much to do right now, at least. So, and I'm in direct contact with her now. So I'm going to push her to push that out into her community as well, and make sure that we get a lot of great female riders teams in there as well. So yeah.
Cool.
Nice. All right, mate. Time to end it.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that was good.
Good talk. I see you soon. And make sure to. I know you're busy. I'm always looking forward to see you when you post out something. So keep on doing that. Makes my day. Having your podcast in my ear when I'm doing my walks. So yeah,
awesome.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, mate.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Take care. Bye.